So yeah, I am 2 for 2 ugly girl crying during this movie. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JBuck Studios, your home for reviews, reactions, and of course, ridiculousness. And we're talking about a movie that I was able to check out at Sundance. It is dropping on Apple TV Plus this weekend, and I am very excited to talk about it. It is CODA. Ruby is the only member of a deaf family, but in joining her high school's choir club, Ruby finds herself drawn more and more to her passion for singing. So is this new CODA movie a must-see, heartwarming, just beautiful story? Let's find out. But before I get into my thoughts, let me know what you thought of CODA, if you've already seen this one at an early screening or very much now looking forward to it this weekend in the comments down below. Now, let's get into some of the good. So jumping off the bat, CODA, that stands for Child of Deaf Adults, or adult. And that is essentially what this story is this one child of a family. There's 4 of them, and she is the only one that can hear in the family. So you kind of see that dynamic right there of almost being the outcast, the loner amongst her family. But then it's this coming of age story, kind of going against the status quo, breaking out, following your own dreams, but then also the family element evolving into becoming almost better people. So there's almost these different kind of genre pieces that are hitting at different parts of CODA. And I absolutely was enthralled by everything here because I felt like each of those story beats, like that summer, almost last school year, going into college, coming of age story, hit me right there with almost a nostalgia type thing. And then there was the outcast family element of the story that I very much almost grasp onto as well, of instead of following the status quo, essentially falling into the family business here of fishing, going off, following her dreams, going to college and singing. And that right there as well hit me on kind of an emotional, joyful level. But then it's the family of them evolving throughout this story of, yes, seeing that this child who is different than us, even though we are family, has these different dreams, these aspirations. We can't always lean on this character. So I feel like the emotional story beats and just the story structure here reeled me in instantly. Like, this is why I love this movie. Again, 2 for 2. I am giving this movie just high marks because I loved it so much. And I think it's the way that they were able to kind of craft the emotional elements with the family bond, because right here, all of the performances from the family members of Emilia Jones, Marlee Matlin, Troy Kotsur, Daniel Durant, and even the school teacher who was playing Bernard, the one that saw the potential in the Ruby character here. I think that not only are their performances, they're fantastic here, but the way that they are able to craft these connections with one another and really show the hardships that they're dealing with. Like, you feel like it's this dysfunctional, close-knit, we love each other, we hate each other at times family throughout this movie. And it's unique because, again, Ruby is the only one that can speak, so there's a lot of sign language going back and forth, but you can convey the emotion from the way that they sign. You can convey the comedic timing from the way that they sign. And it is, again, such an interesting way of looking at a family communicating, but also just from almost actions speak louder than words. That phrase right here is present 1,000,000% here, because I got the emotion from the characters' faces and the way that they were signing back and forth. So I fell into kind of that family bond, but then them falling out, getting back together, having problems, arguing, loving each other, hugging. Like, the emotion here of the chemistry of the performances are so damn good. But again, going to kind of the comedic elements, the way that all of the other characters that were deaf and were signing, their performances were flippin' great, because there's like 2, 3, maybe 4 scenes of jokes, of comedy. And I'm like, okay, let's see how this works out. And the way that they sign and kind of the flow of the signing and the way that they put characters in ridiculous situations is so funny. Like, the introduction of the family when they go to a doctor instantly gives you kind of the tone and the almost lighthearted material that the family is going to get into. So I'm loving the family element here. But the way that I think that this shines and puts a spotlight on the deaf community is the way that they play with not only the signing and the delivery and kind of the interactions between Ruby and the family, but the way that they play into silence, essentially in scenes. For example, Ruby very much wants to be a singer, which, as you can tell, is way on the other side of things that the family can even kind of relate to. So they are there supporting her dream after, you know, some kind of hiccups here or there. But the way that they switch in from the singing of this character, the music, the crowd reactions, to complete silence is something that puts you in a perspective that I don't think you yourself could have done without them doing it, but also you can just feel like the joy. I'm getting choked up right now. The joy and heartbreak of balancing these scenes right here. Yeah, me just talking right now, I am getting choked up just thinking about this scene again. It's just the way that they structured those scenes puts you in kind of the shoes of someone I think that you haven't really been used to before. And that transitions into the ending scene. Again, a coming-of-age story, these kind of smaller movies, there's always kind of this scene at the end, or I'm hoping for one, that's just gonna knock me out, knock me on my ass, essentially. This scene, the way that they play into the Ruby character, her singing, the family dynamic, and just kind of the overall feeling and tone and feeling included, no longer feeling an outcast, and bringing these people together into almost a community together, I think will solidify this movie for everyone. Again, I watched it last night and I broke down crying, breathing heavily because it felt so joyfully heartbreaking, wonderful. It was one of the most endearing scenes of the year so far. Like, literally, CODA is everything. Like, this is one of those feel-good, chill movies that I will be turning on for the next few years. Like, if anyone knows, I adore Hearts Beat Loud from 2018. This is adding to that kind of catalog of movies I'm going to watch when I'm maybe having a down day. Now, for cons, negatives, anything like that, spoiler, I don't have anything. I absolutely adored this movie. Maybe some people, not for myself, might say that it's a bit predictable the way the story plays out, beat for beat. I don't care. I adore this movie. Overall, CODA is a heartwarming, almost outcast, coming-of-age story that I cannot recommend higher. With it again having story beats, performances, unique ways that they played with sound, comedic action with the sign language, and just kind of being a spotlight for the deaf community with absolutely no negatives, I cannot recommend CODA higher. Again, 2 for 2. This movie hit me in the emotions, in the core, in my heart. I'm gonna say this again. You need to watch this movie this weekend, either in the movie theater in a limited release or on Apple TV Plus, because I think that this is just a gem of a movie. This is a must-see. Plus, it's putting a spotlight or a voice into a community that I personally was not that aware of, and I think I absolutely am. I understand it now. In closing, I'm going to give CODA 5 out of 5, joyfully sobbing over this movie. So what did you all think of CODA? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you going to listen to everything I said? Watch this movie, get a box of tissues, let me know in the comments down below because you will not regret it, people. Anyway, though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there or right over there, you know, brand new content every single week here on the JBuck Studios channel. Free Guy, I think, tomorrow, and maybe Don't Breathe this weekend, so stay tuned for all of that. Follow my social media down there, you know, TikTok, I'm doing a bunch of stuff over there. Otherwise, the JBuck Shorts YouTube channel, everything is in the description. Like this video, subscribe to the JBuck Studios channel, and until next time, we'll see you later.